export this meeting to the cloud, you're probably going to get a message being like, oh my God, you're getting recorded and
Yeah,
all that
yep,
stuff.
I got it.
Okay, super. So, I mean, just to get this on tape, I received a drawing that you made following a prompt that I prepared for this exercise. And what we're going to do, we're just going to go through a series of questions that we'll have to, that we'll do, oh man, I'm so tired, that have to do with your experiences in drawing, basically, and your experiences of burnout. So anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, anything that you don't want to answer, like you can let me know, and we don't have to include that in the response by any means. And as and one thing that I can promise you is that I'm gonna give the transcript back once I've coded it, so that you can see what I am going to share with other parties, and you can let me know if you feel comfortable with what it is that I interpreted after our conversation. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so excellent. Do you agree to be recorded and partake in this activity?
Yes, I agree.
Super, thank you. I just have to make that explicit because, you know, IRB and all that stuff. But now we can officially start, Kiki. So well, first of all, thank you so much for answering the call and for taking the time to engage in a drawing. And, you know, it's a lot of effort, and right now everybody's super busy. So I just wanted to thank you because it really means a lot.
No worries at all. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm going to share this. And then I was like, I had the intention to do it. And then like, I thought it was going to be like another task. And I knew that you said something about, oh, I don't want this to be homework in the thing. And when you said that, I felt a little bit better about it because like,
cool.
You know, I love you. And like, I want to support your research, and like, we're in the same collectives, and like, this is collaborative work, and we already have other bodies of work together. So that's why I really wanted to do it. But also it's like, I know you're doing an interview portion, but like, I can see other ways of you getting more content without having to do so many interviews. Like I am working on other things myself, in which I'll be asking people to essentially participate anonymously though. And there is a chance for me to incorporate your activity into my activity, and then
beautiful.
I can give people the questions themselves to answer and submit, so that like mitigates all of the extra work depending on how many people respond to my prompt of responding to your prompt, which would probably help your research and prevent burnout.
Oh my God, you're such a genius. And I'm just so excited to hear all of this, like specifically because you know how thrilled I am with collaboration. And it's like, thank you for mentioning also that you're a part of our collective, Brujas, which we have in the States. Is US based, but it's also transnational, right? Because we're moving everywhere and stuff. And it's that's just the basis of this project, really, you know, like I'm working through the model of mycorrhizal symbiosis, and you just created a collaboration, you know, and that's the point. The point is not to own the thing. The point is to let it grow in all ways and manners and colors. And I'm so excited. I want to hear about this a little bit later on as well, to see how it is that we can do this. This makes me so excited. Also, like specifically with you, Kiki, because I really like working with you, like specifically. So this is, I'm excited in all accounts. So basically, firstly, I just for kind of like a broad question that I'm asking everybody, what do you consider to be your relationship to art, in whatever way you want to answer?
For me, art is therapy, like in the simplest terms. To me, art was always the way that I dealt with my pain. Quite literally, it's in my portfolio that I used to get into Harvard. Like I used art and my pain to literally get into Harvard.
Wow, that's outstanding. You know, like I mean, we cannot sublate all of our experiences, you know, in oppression, and I don't mean to do that, but I do mean to stretch out an arm, you know, and saying like, I admire the fact that you were and you are able to take all of that fire, you know, that intensity and energy, and make it work, for you, because it's literally fire, effective fire. So you've been through a lot your whole life, and I mean, like, I'm probably not gonna add this officially, but I just want you to know how proud of you I am. Whatever, however that makes you feel, or like, it might not be worth anything, but from my perspective, it's just outstanding. And anyway, it's fantastic to hear that art is something that's type of, how can I say it, that is meaningful at that level, for you, and that allows for you to rest.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you just hit the nail on the head for all of that, and I really appreciate you acknowledging that, because there are people out there who like don't believe that I take care of myself, and they like, yes, I do experience burnout. However, I'm also the one who advises people on how to avoid burnout.
LOL. Meta burnout.
Meta burnout, literally. So
oh my god.
I just need people to trust me, and like, right now you trust me, so that's why I'm doing this.
No, absolutely. We need each other's encouragement. That's something that I've found, like, now that I'm completely immersed in this thesis writing hellscape. But once I emerge out, I'm gonna be so much nicer to all my friends, because I will have the time to just be myself.
Yay!
But yeah, finally, right? Like, you're gonna meet the real Xalli. But no. So I'm looking at your drawing, and I have to say, the way you sent it, and it's you. It's like, there's no other way to say it. It's literally you. I was staring at that face, and I'm like, this is my friend. Like, it's so on point. Like, you captured like that moment, and I just want to say, I love the caption on like, above it, and I love to see, because I follow you on Instagram, so I see the drawings that you diligently make in Inktober, so I'm familiar with your style, and I've shown your work, and we've collaborated, like, and in a lot of different ways, even though we're not at the same institution right now. Like you said, you're at Harvard, so you're living in Boston. It's a completely different circumstance to the one in which we met, right, at the sculpture studios, learning how to dance with Cece. Turk Tuesday, yeah, and the snacks and everything. So thinking about that, I love this. It says, plants care for one another, mycorrhizal structures, internet for green friends, non-human ways of providing care, meta pandemics for leakage, we turn into plants. It's all like, it's a little poem.
Oh, yay!
I love it.
It's a poem, but also I was building off of you. I was building off of what you were saying.
Oh, gotcha. You were taking notes to more or less kind of like get somewhere, right? Oh,
yeah.
Man. I love it. It's just the way you rephrased it, because it also allows for me to know and to feel how you were thinking through, the visualization exercise. That also helps me like improve them. I didn't want to make it too formal. I wanted, because the point is for people to relax. I feel like we're being asked for a lot of things, in terms of effort on how we should like police ourselves and so much, so anyway, like I'm just appalled, because your face, it's literally your face. Like, it's just like, you drew a literal like self-portrait, Kiki, and this is beautiful, because not to say like some drawings are better than others, but I've gotten so many different things, like I said, like more abstract sorts of things, or interventions on books, and this is an actual like self-portrait and plant metamorphosis. And there's so much information going on here, and I just wanted to ask, maybe just for starters, what was your experience in, first of all, listening to the prompt, and then undergoing the actual drawing of it? Like, what happened?
Yeah, so I will also talk about the visual too, because the visual and the sound also matters, because
Beautiful.
Like the graphic you chose was very calming to me. Like, I was able to find certain pieces in it that just like really helped me, like, calm down. And then the sound, although the sound bowl was kind of quiet, it made me focus more on your voice and what you were saying, and it helped that you didn't immediately rush into the drawing portion of it, you know, like you kind of took the time to explain to us what was happening and why. And I just really, especially because like I know your voice and I find comfort in your voice, and like, you know, I could tell that, you know, Xalli, I've seen you go through a lot of stress in your life, and I know when you're speaking from a stressed point, and when you recorded that, you weren't stressed at all. And I'm saying that for a very intentional reason, right? Because you can tell from people's voices, like when they're stressed, but you can also tell when people are burnt out when they talk, and you can also tell when people are healing when they talk. And while you were recording this, and when I was listening to it, I could tell that you're in the process of healing as you're trying to wrap up your theses from this, as you so put it, hellscape. And as I, you know, affirm you in that ideology that it's a hellscape, I resonate with you in your journey to try and literally just finish that complete, like literally. And I'm going to support you in any freaking way I possibly can to make that a reality. All of our collective work that we've done that can be used to get you the F out of there, I am going to listen, Xalli, nobody deserves to be done with Penn State more than you.
Oh my God.
Like literally,
of course.
The two people that helped me get out, like y'all are I need y'all to finish so that we can continue to do the stuff that we plan to do in the future. And you know we got plans.
Yeah, we got so many, and they're real, eh? I have so much to talk to you about, and we're gonna plan for maybe a meeting time so that we can do it in person once we're done with this crap. And once, if I finish before Cece, because I don't know what her process is, I'll freaking help her, because that's what we do. We help each other. Like, that's the whole point of Sunday dinner. That's the whole point of listening. And again, I apologize that I wasn't able to give more than I was, like giving, because of no. It's something that I've been thinking about, like, I mean, yeah. I just want you to know me in a different scenario, and you will. So I'm just excited for it. Don't worry. So, oh my God, this is excellent. So, I mean, I've drawn with you. I know more or less what your relationship to art is. Yeah, and it's just like, it gets me so excited, like as you do, like drawing with people, just sharing experiences and so forth. We've done it before, and we're gonna keep doing it. But just looking at your drawing, also, like, I want to ask you so many questions, because I mean, I love your style. Like, it seems like you let yourself and this is very metaphorical, because I see the way people perform drawing and the way they perform their lives as a kind of like a meta drawing in ways, like, and I just love, like, there's spaces in your drawing where you stress the markings, like it seems like you were emphasizing the container in ways. Like, I can see the pot, and I love the pot. It has a pattern, right? It makes me think of weavings, and stuff. So I'm aware of that as well, and I wanted to ask, why was that the choice you made? Because it's a sunflower, right?
Yes, it's a sunflower. Yep.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your decision making when it came to this specific drawing.
Yeah, so I will actually tell you that I did not start with the sunflower. The sunflower was the last part I drew, like the petals of the leaves. So I worked from the bottom up, and I started with the roots and the rubble and the soil. I drew that first, and then from there I went up and I drew the pot, just the shape of it. And then from there I went back to the roots, and I started emphasizing where the roots were, and started to really start to mark where I wanted the roots to be.
Yep.
And then from there, I went back up to the pot, and I was like, okay, this pot is really bare, so I want it to just be clay pot with nothing on it, or do I want it to have markings? Is it painted? Is it? And I knew I wasn't going to work with color because I usually work in black and white for the most part, unless I'm painting. So I was like, oh, okay. How can I indicate that this is something that could be painted or has a pattern, has a history, without actually painting on it? And then I wanted it to be shattered on purpose because like it represents like freedom and breaking free, and the roots like just going, and going where they want to go. Because to me, my image represents me healing. To me, my self, my plant self portrait represents healing. In the meta pandemic, right? Because the pandemic has been nothing but traumatic, not just for me, but for globally. And we've all been in pain this entire time. And I just wanted to represent myself and everyone else. If I believe that my friends are my family, right? And we all are a root system and mycorrhizal, it's like, it's not just me in that picture. I believe that self-portrait is a portrait of all of us, And then from there, or at least it's what I hope that people do for themselves and how they deem necessary. And for me, that I heal through community. And I'm gonna need this recording because I need it, and I need the transcript too, for my own personal research and my own personal reasons. Sorry, I'm gonna use a new phrase that I took from my friend Anna. It's feed two birds with one stone. I'm gonna use this to also further my own research and my own studies at Harvard, but also just as a form of like trust, because I need it. And that's why when you said, oh, burnout, I was like, oh yeah, I'm burnt out and I need to heal. And I love art, and I was like, I'm gonna participate, so that's why I did it. But to get back to the process, to get back to the process, after I finished the pot and the base of the roots, I stopped drawing. I took a break. And I just went and I did other things. I watered plants. I went and watered plants that weren't even in my own apartment. I was staying at a friend's house.
So sweet.
Yeah, so I was watering plants at a friend's house because I spent the night at their house because I currently am not sleeping in my own apartment, and I haven't been sleeping there for 3 weeks for very specific reasons. We can talk about it off camera, off recording.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I haven't been home in a very long time by myself on my own accord. In a form of where I felt safe, So I was literally in another space that I felt safe in to do this art in this form of therapy. So it's literally mycorrhizal in my own history of where I decided to draw this self-portrait and the placement in my journey as to why it's important. So once I decided to go back and go back to the thing, then I started to draw the stem. And before I started to draw the stem, I was also thinking about where the leaves would be placed. So I was going back and forth of like strategically placing the leaves and the stem and going back to the leaves. And I do have to use references because it's just my process. So I did have a reference to a certain extent. And then I kind of like placed a light circle where I knew my face was gonna go. And then from that point, I sketched my face out inside of the circle. And then once I was satisfied with it, or once it looked like me enough, because it didn't look like the final product, right? It was a process of me going back and forth to different parts of the sketch and the drawing. And then from there, I kind of got it looking like me good enough, and then I went to finish the leaves, and then I jumped up to the petals, and then I kind of did the petals a little bit. I started at the bottom again, working from the bottom up. And then I went back to my face. I was going back and forth between the petals and my face as I worked around the whole edge of the petals, almost literally like the sun, you know, like how the sun is represented in a flower in general. Like the shapes are basically the same. And that's why I chose it. I have sunflower tattoos on my body. Sunflowers to me are a form of healing because of my tragic losses and everything. And to me, they represent warmth. They represent healing. They represent glowing in the dark and radiating light. Like to me, it felt like home. To me, art feels like home. You felt like home. Where I was staying with my friend felt like home. So I just really felt comfortable in that space, and that's why I ended up finishing the drawing the way that I did. And the moment I finished it, I was like, I gotta show Xalli now.
Yes,
I gotta send a picture now. I can't wait. So I took the picture.
Oh my God.
And I sent it to you, and then I remembered that you did want it scanned. And I was like, I have a scanner. It's on my phone. So I scanned it, and I didn't even worry about the text. Why? Because there were instructions, and you just said that they were a poem, and that means so much to me in general, because I think in fragments, and like notes are technically fragmented words and abstractions. So I was like creating poetry off of your poetry. You know what I mean?
Oh, and we were just vibing off each other, and now I'm vibing off of what you did in response, and it's like a mycorrhizal, you know, like a sequencing. I love it. And wow, you just said so much, Kiki. I love your energy. I love your spirit. I love the fact that you don't give up. It's just amazing. You know, it's like you're really grounded. And I can see that in this drawing, like specifically, I like you can feel the power, you know, of what you're thinking, you know, and how you're expressing in a way what you're going through, you know. It's like the clay that's supposed to confine you in this sense, you know, like maybe the clay of the pot is it can represent whatever, you know, but I was thinking of a potted plant so that people would more or less deal with confinement in a visual way, you know. And I love that you chose clay. Love it. I love that you just blew it to pieces, and it's still kind of working, you know, but it's not limiting you. So it provides the structure that's supposed to provide, but you just broke through the ground. And I love that you did it starting off from the ground. That's very interesting to me. I usually do the opposite way. I start from leaves, you know, I start from random points, and then I get to the next part. But I'm loving that you're explaining your process as you're also feeling it and experiencing, you know, what it like the pandemic, but also the losses, you know, of people and frustrations of all kinds. And I know that you're an activist, you know, you're also taking care of your community in terms, not only your friends, but people that you don't necessarily know, you know, and that's super admirable. And it adds up to this burnout, you know, like I'm reading about the burnout of people doing activism. Like it's specific, you know, it's not the same as you being exploited in a specific type of job situation, but you're trying to give more, you know, to society. And sometimes it feels as if there aren't many systems of support apart from the ones that you can maybe get, say from relating to your friends and family, you know. So that's, I kind of like the thinking behind it, but I just love it. The way I wanted to ask also, like you said that you had a reference, but you're also very imaginative, you know, like I'm seeing all these decisions that you made, and the drawing is almost like it's so realistic, you know. I can see like the folds. It's realistic in an effective way. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's realistic ontologically, you know, because it's not the way, you know, like people say like, oh, it has to look like perfect in terms of dimensions and stuff. I don't care about that. I like, for me, it's like the relation to the way you're being in that sense, you know. And this is so rich. It's so rich. Like every single detail, you can see layers, you know. You can see the layers from like the more tenuous, almost ephemeral, like traces, and the ones that are, you know, charged with a lot of force, you know, and the ones that were emphasized. But
but also you can look at the delicate like the living parts of a plant, you know, kind of like are very striking. You see like the leaves and they're the way they're just, you know, they're moving.
Yeah, how they're
There's
twisting. Yeah.
and also like you said, um like you said that it's a sunflower. I love that. It's a beautiful symbol, you know, and you're always looking at the sun. So, you know, you're always kind of like mirroring that light and also sharing it with everybody
Yeah.
around you. You know, you also are a means of support for people that exist around you, you know, and I think that's just beyond beautiful. And I just wanted to say thank you. And also like and you said also that specific question about like your reference point. And maybe like I would like to ask you like this question for you to just go crazy as much as you can. But so you said that you were referencing on something maybe real or an image or maybe like a plant like that was next to you. And I want to anchor that question to another one is like I want to ask you like, were you thinking about the future and with this? And if so, like, or if you weren't, what do you think would help you, like, help you not go through such burnout? You know, like specifically, what would help you? You know?
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, one moment. I'm like definitely running in to get some food really quick in the middle of my
I got you.
and my
No,
phone is
you're
like
nourishing
really,
yourself.
yeah, I'm nourishing myself, and you know how I have issues with food and everything. So that's why I just drank some water, but I'm definitely like on the run because my phone's also maybe gonna die.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. This is more than enough. But I'm trying to, you know, like get
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
picture because you're so good at this anyway.
I
Uh,
know, I know. So basically, what was happening was that okay, so I did have references, and essentially, I was thinking about the past, present, and the future, you know?
mhm.
And essentially, thinking about the past, present, and the future. And especially because like it's like what I want to do now, what I was supposed to do in the past, and what I want to do for the future, and to keep doing it. And what would really help me avoid burnout in the future is just for people to listen to me and actually believe me when I say stuff. You know, literally
Mhm,
that's it. All
mhm,
I've ever asked is for people to like actually listen
mhm.
and actually like respond, you know? And like sometimes people don't do it genuinely.
Oh, I see. I see. And that maybe causes more strain in terms of energy, do you feel? Because you can tell when they're not listening. Is
Yeah, I can tell when
okay.
they're not listening and they have other agendas, you know?
Ah, gotcha. Is this like a new thing or is this kind of like what's always been there, you reckon?
Can you say that last part again?
Yeah. No, I was asking if this is something new for you or is something that you're coming to terms with that's always happened, or maybe it became a little bit more emphatic because of the pandemic, or is it because of your new living circumstances? Just out of curiosity, or is it something that's always been there, you know?
You know, I'm not actually sure. Um, it's just something that I realize has been happening. I was like, you're listening, but you're not listening.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
know, like, yeah, I don't know. I can it. My eyes have opened up to when I can tell when people aren't actually listening. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I used to not be able to do that, but now I can tell, like literally in the moment, I know when someone's not listening, but I also know when I'm not listening to someone. And it's definitely an accountability thing. It's like everyone has to be critical, everyone has to be holding each other accountable.
Mhm,
And not a lot of people do that, which is why I'm like, just listen to me. Like,
mm, mm,
and
mm,
I'll listen to
mm,
you know, like,
mhm, mhm,
please.
mhm. No, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. It's like it well, it reflects maybe like an inability for us to, you know, by listening, you're also connecting, you know. So maybe there's kind of like a glitch of sorts. And I mean I feel it's more emphatic in my experience in the States, because in here there's more kind of like the touchy substance that allows for us to connect, you know, via forms of direct contact, you know. So I had to navigate that in the States. That's why I'm asking, you know, to make sure that I'm understanding what kind of difference, you know, we're speaking from. But I feel like I get you, you know, like it's and sometimes it's hard right now, especially because everybody's going through so much. And you know, like when I feel like somebody's like disengaging or kind of like more aloof, I go like, oh, they're probably dealing with stuff, you know. But then again, it's like it's also part of like self-commitment, you know. Like if we want to improve, you have to give that time, you know, and you have to be open. And that's the thing, like being open to listening to somebody such as yourself, Kiki, because you're so punctual. You're very observing. You can look at patterns in a way, like you say, you think in disconnected forms, or but I feel it's more like a constellation of ideas. So the problem is that, you know, it's harder to make them linear so that people who are more used to thinking in that way can understand. But I what I mean to say is that I'm sorry that you feel like people aren't listening to you, and because it's frustrating, right? Like I feel like it's sometimes it manifests even in like coughs and stuff, right? Like you feel like what you have to say is not getting through or across, and it's a shame, because what you have to say is incredibly insightful, and it's a game changing sort of puissance, you know, or power. But maybe maybe it's a
Yeah,
little much for people who haven't
yeah,
gone
but
through that process, you know.
yeah, and like just to circle back to thank you for saying everything you said, but also to just go back to a certain point, it's like when people start to disengage, it's like, all right, well, first you can like articulate that you're disengaging and that, you know, it's all about consent and it's all about capacity, which we all know that consent can be given and taken away at any point in time. So like if a conversation is too much for you, just say that. Or, you know, if you didn't have the capacity in the first place, just say that. Or if you didn't
Love
want to
that.
listen to anything I wanted to say in the first place, just say that. Like, it's not that
Beautiful.
hard, you know?
Yeah, you're at that level, and I love it, you know. I feel like you're pushing for something that's super important, and that's something that I'm trying to pay attention to as well, you know, like the dialogic aspect of relationality, but not just a performative type of, you know. I guess it's the same difference in English when you say like hearing versus listening, right? Like in Spanish we say it's like oír and escuchar, right? So oír is more like hearing, like you're there, but not really engaging. And listening is escuchar, like you're really kind of like drawing in that universe from someone else and trying to navigate it, you know. And I feel like it is entirely connected to the way we don't really communicate in ways that are more expansive and allow for us to express maybe what we're going through and at an effective level, which is like a way that's not necessarily visible, you know. So I mean, I'm just thinking about that in my own sense. Like I feel it would be like useful to have like what is like a mood ring of sorts, you know, but like a floating
Yeah.
sort of device, you know. Like I'm in orange, so don't take it personal. I've just been through a lot today, you know. And you see that
Yeah.
person with the orange thing and go like, okay, work, you know. And if
Yeah,
someone's
or
with a
even if you
green
do that
banner,
with just your, it's like a code, right? And you don't even have to do that on a global level. You can do it with just your friends, you know?
Yeah. Like put something that says whatever color, you're color coding your affective state. And then that allows for other people to be like, oh, work, you're right now in this moment, you know, because I feel like we essentialize each other a lot because of this stupid tendency of, you know, like categorizing people on the basis of things that we didn't even choose, you know. So it's like, oh, you don't want to work, it's because you're lazy, you know. And it's like, no, what if I'm just going through a lot right now and I can't concentrate? It doesn't mean that I'm disrespecting your authority,
Exactly.
you know.
Yo,
It's just not
yes.
everything's about you, but whatever. It's just, I feel like this another layer of communication would be super useful. And I feel like you are very good. Like, well, the way I look at your posts on social media and everything is like, you try to address that and you try to be respectful and you try to also make others understand where you're at, you know, and I feel like that is
Yeah.
the way to go, Kiki. Like don't
Yeah.
give up on that, you know, even if people
I
feel like
mean,
that's super foreign or alien, like it,
yeah,
like
and
it's
recently
necessary.
and recently I did, like, obviously I noticed a lot of people had to start unfollowing me because I was posting a lot of triggering stuff because I was crying out for help and like I wasn't getting it, or like people just
Gotcha.
didn't know what to do, and then I escalated, you know, and I hurt a lot of people in the process, which is why you've seen my posts kind of shift back to normal. But in the same time, it's like I'm also holding myself accountable for what I did and why, and you know, some parts of it I'm apologizing for and some parts of it I'm not, because at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best for me.
Of course, and nobody can blame you for that, you know. And I feel like sometimes it's hard because we don't, you know, understand each other's lived experience. And I think, you know, people say that that's impossible. I say that there are ways in which we can soften bridges, you know. And not to say that I'm living it, but I understand the severity, you know, and I can act accordingly. So for me, that's kind of like the point. The point is not whether or not you have a like an exact copy of the affective state of other, you know, to digest, but rather how can you be of service, you know, service not in an oppressive way, but in a way to aid, in a way to enact mutualism, you know, to be like that's the whole point of the mycorrhizal structure, right? Like plants do it. It's like some plant is dying because maybe it can't reach nutrients because it's not tall enough, or it's, you know, either it's growing or it's, you know, dying. And then other plants kind of like help out. It's like, hey, deuterina, I have a lot of nitrogen. Here you go, you know? And it's kind of like a way in which the whole system, like the ecosystem, is sustained. And it's just very alien for me to see, you know, like there being need, and for need to be like inferiorized and deemed as something, you know, that we don't want, when it's a product of, you know, the way in which we live. So specifically because of capitalism, like like I can't just be like, that's normal. No, but what I'm saying is that I think you have a lot of light, Kiki. I think you drew yourself exactly as I see you. I didn't have an image, you know, for it, and you just gave me one from your own insights, which is incredible. And I do see you like that, and I hope you know that I'm here for you, and I will support your process. And because I've been through weird stuff that's not comparable, but it has affected me and changed me, you know. I feel like it's a responsibility, you know, like to understand when other people are going through something that, you know, they're having a lot of trouble with. Like I feel like on top of that, judging them is not helping at all, you know. It's more
Exactly.
understanding, like, oh wow, you're suffering and you're acting like this, and of course you have rage, you know. Like, of course you have rage, of course you're gonna shout, of course you're gonna say these things. The world is fucked. So there's nothing wrong with you. It's the other way around. Like, what is wrong with the world that's making you, you know, like it's the same thing, something that I'm telling my parents. And I think my partner, like you, and said it to me at one point, and I thought that was brilliant. It was like, you don't judge a plant for decaying, you try to change its conditions, you know. Yeah, don't worry. And then and so you don't blame the plant. It's like, stop dying, you know. No, you're seeing like maybe it's having too much light or too much exposure to water, whatever, you know. But we don't do that with humans. So I just thought it was weird. And I see you as something that understands that in a way, you know. It's not the person, it's what's happening, you know.
Yeah, it's like we don't give humans enough grace, you know, to be flawed. We have to be perfect, even though perfection does not exist.
Word.
And it just sucks that we always have such high expectations and no one's allowed to mess up or be human. Like, we're human and we don't let us be humans. Like, what kind of like who made these rules? Well, we all know who made it, but because I'm not trying to go down another rabbit hole, I'm not going to say who it is or was or not who it is. So yeah, like, you know what I'm talking about, Xalli. You know where I'm coming from.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, like
we do a lot of art on it. Yeah.
Okay. Hello? Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
switching back
I'm
into-
here. Yeah, no, don't worry, Kiki. Well, you know what? Actually, I think we can leave it here just for the formal part, you know? Like I want to call you
Yeah.
again before Christmas to just like maybe talk. I think it would be awesome just to call you randomly, you know? Because I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss hanging out with my friends. But I feel like what you've said here is very powerful, and it's just kind of reinforcing a lot of like the frameworks that I wanted to more or less code. So thank you so much. I'm gonna stop the recording now if that's okay with you. All right.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
All right. I'm stopping. Boop, boop, and